welcome to Raz Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing Thor Ragnarok. This is the third Thor film and the 17th installment in the MCU, so by now you should know whether or not you're into these movies. There's been a lot of hype surrounding this film, especially because its promotional materials seem to show that they're taking a completely different direction and a new tone when it comes to the Thor movies. Which was a welcome change for me because I felt that the previous Thor movies took themselves a little bit too seriously. This film was directed by Taika Waititi, who's not a very well-known director. He's directed a small film called What We Do in the Shadow, which is a hilarious mockumentary that I definitely recommend and I'm a big fan of. So I'm very happy to see such a small-time director get his big shot and do a big Marvel film, and I was looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do with it. And having seen the film, my first impression of it is that it was fun, with a capital F. I generally liked Thor Ragnarok a lot, and I definitely enjoyed it, but it has its ups and downs. So I'm gonna dive in now and start talking about the ups with the top 3 things that I liked about Thor Ragnarok. Number 3, the visual style. I really liked how this film looked and felt. This movie is extremely colorful and it felt like it had this 80s cam to it, which was really enjoyable. The editing and the soundtrack together make up for this amazing visual extravaganza that you completely enjoy, especially when it comes to the fighting scenes. This movie has awesome fighting scenes, really cool stuff. The costume design is also very cool. Thor gets his helmet, finally we get to see that, and it looks pretty badass. And the #1 outfit in the whole film for me was Hela's costume. It's so cool. I cannot wait to turn that into a cosplay. The look and feel of this film takes a huge departure from the first and second Thor movies. It looks more like Guardians of the Galaxy than anything else in the MCU, and it really helps make you feel like you are somewhere out of this earth, because come on, our real world is kind of boring when you compare it to the extravaganza of the cosmos. The number 2 thing I liked about Thor Ragnarok was Valkyrie. Introducing a new character into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not easy because there's so many of them. So it's very hard for a new character to make an impact. However, Valkyrie, played brilliantly by Tessa Thompson, is an exception to the rule. She's funny, she's cool, she's a badass, she's a great fighter, she had really nice chemistry with Thor and everybody else, and with the Hulk. I really liked her and I can't wait to see more of her. The number 1 thing I liked about Thor Ragnarok was expanding the MCU. Similarly to Guardians of the Galaxy and also Doctor Strange, this movie expands the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a very nice way, where it takes it outside of the human world and the human first world problems and ties us into what's coming, which is Infinity War.
Turn down the weed!
In the previous Thor films, especially the second one, Thor seemed to always be compelled to come back to Earth and interact with humans for some reason. It's like we can't enjoy Thor unless he was with other human characters. But this time he's completely free from those shackles and he's out there in the universe interacting with crazy things and crazy characters and things that are as over the top and as powerful as he is. And also this movie expanded the universe in terms of the mythos, and it felt like it was very Nordic in nature. We really felt like the mystical world of the Vikings and their gods and their mythology really come through in this film more than any of the other films. I didn't enjoy everything about Thor Ragnarok, so here are the top 3 things I didn't like about the movie. Number 3, not all the characters worked for me. I really like Thor, Hulk, and as I mentioned, Valkyrie, and a lot of other characters that were in this film, but there are 2 characters that didn't work for me at all, and one of them is Jeff Goldblum as Grandmaster. And apologies to all Jeff Goldblum fans out there, but I haven't really enjoyed most of his recent performances because they all really feel like they are the same thing. And in this movie, it was no exception. I always felt like whenever the Grandmaster was on screen that, oh look, I'm watching Jeff Goldblum, it's a movie. It really took me out of the film and disconnected me from it completely, which I never like. Another character that didn't work for me is Keith Urban's Scourge, who I felt was kind of pointless. I didn't really buy into his story, I didn't really care about him, and I felt like he was kind of a waste of time. And honestly, even the performance wasn't that great. He felt like he was just there to be there. I really liked Hela as a character and as a villain in this movie. However, I felt like her character was a little bit mishandled in the sense that her scenes seemed to clash so much with the general tone of the film, and also we didn't spend enough time with her. She was mostly there to be a mouthpiece for certain exposition and explaining her backstory to us, when I felt like her backstory was so compelling, I wish I actually saw it. So as a character and as a concept, she was pretty cool, and as a performance, Cate Blanchett did an amazing job and she looked good in this movie. I mean, geez, look at that woman. She looks incredible. However, towards the end of the film, I felt her role was not as expansive as I wanted it to be, and I felt like it was cut a little too short, and I didn't also feel like she meshed well with the rest of the film. Speaking of the tone, the second thing I didn't like about Thor Ragnarok was the extreme tone change. Like I said earlier, I'm a fan of the change of the tone from the other Thor films, but this film felt like it went a little bit too far. Change and experimenting is a good thing, and I like seeing a fresh take on a character or on a franchise. However, this film felt completely disconnected from the first and the second Thor. So I feel like there is such a thing as too much fun or too funny. I didn't recognize Thor's character in this movie. He's so different from all of the other films. Sometimes in a good way, but sometimes it felt like it went a little too far, and the same applies to Hulk as well. Which leads me to the number one thing I didn't like about Thor Ragnarok, which is the fact that the stakes were not high. Due to the overtly comical fun times thing that the movie was doing, I never felt like any of the characters were in any real danger. And low stakes are never a good thing for a movie, especially if it's action-packed, because those action scenes lose their intensity if you don't think anybody's gonna get really hurt. And the reason why I felt that is because everything was a joke. Even intense emotional scenes were overshadowed by jokes and people not taking things seriously. And if the characters don't take the situation seriously, I'm not gonna take the situation seriously. And I feel like this is gonna bother the comic book readers more than most people. But when you say Ragnarok, Ragnarok is the end of days. It's a disaster of epic proportions, and that kind of Armageddon feel never really translated well in the movie. It's like, oh my god, the most horrible thing is about to happen, oh my god. It's really funny. This also caused me to be a little bit emotionally disconnected from the movie and from the characters. And it also didn't leave me with anything to contemplate or think about in terms of themes, in terms of character moments and character arcs. It just felt a little too shallow, which means I don't think this movie is gonna leave a lasting impression. But only time will tell if I'm right or wrong. All in all, I had a good time watching this movie. It's definitely my favorite Thor movie, but it's not my favorite MCU movie. But if you've liked the MCU films so far, then you'll definitely enjoy this one as well. It's a solid, fun Marvel movie, and I'm gonna give Thor Ragnarok an 8 out of 10. So, have you seen Thor? Did you like it? Let me know what you thought, and also tell me in the comment section, what's your favorite Marvel movie to date? Mine is still Civil War. Let me know in the comment section, and as always, like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to ask me what you would like me to review for you next. See ya!